Hi there. So, finished a disappointing 0-0 draw for us today against Everton. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think we need a killer. We're able to get to the final third pretty consistently. We were like, it came to a point where I think Everton had 10 people in the box, and we still couldn't really do much. We had like maybe 3 big chances to start the game where I was like, oh, like we're gonna score, and then we didn't still. Jesus and Havertz, they're not killers, but at the same time, I'd say Martinelli actually, it kind of hurts me as a Brazilian to say, but he's not Champions League or Premier League winning quality. I think in terms of really breaking that last, like having that 1v1 duel, he's not a killer. Like for example, Saka is. Kind of hurts me to say that, but I think but that aside, it wasn't actually a terrible performance. I'll just say like we really need a killer, and we really need a left winger. I'd say, yeah, that's all.
Okay, so we've been struggling to break teams down in open play recently. Apart from that Sporting Lisbon and West Ham game, we've been struggling in open play. We've relied a lot on set pieces this season. Do you think it's just down to the fact we're missing that clinical striker, as you say, or do you think it's about the style of play, saying it's not quite right at the moment?
I guess like one issue with this is that if you have a false 9, which we do in both Havertz and Jesus, we end up scapegoating them when we don't win because they're the ones that are supposed to be scoring, but they're just like false 9s, and they might help us in other ways. But at the same time, I think at the level that we're at, we cannot afford to have a player who can't really consistently score. So there's it kind of goes both ways, but I'd say a lot of the weight being placed on like the killer could also be placed on a left wing inside forward who can just get it done, like Saka.
Yeah. And what do you think about maybe taking a bit more risk? So, like, we know they're going to be sitting deep. Maybe you send one of our centre backs up front, like Gabriel, and go more long ball, more direct, just to give him something different to think about.
Yeah, we're very good at defending, right? And maybe we can afford to take more risks to be more creative. Like, set pieces are okay. I also think it's part of like the Arsenal way of playing, like with like Wenger and everything. Obviously, we were very vulnerable in the back, but at least like we had like a lot of players who could really create at the last minute. I think maybe with Arteta we're being like too pragmatic, and I think we could like kind of let it loose in some instances. Yeah.
Okay, and today was even more disappointing because we saw the Liverpool result. They only drew 2-2, so we could have closed the gap on them. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that 3 points today. But what's your thoughts on the overall title race now?
It's a really weird one because if it was Man City with the same amount of points as like Liverpool and playing like them, we're cooked. But I think because they're such a new team with a new coach, I think that they might be kind of like Arsenal that season where we looked really good and we looked like we were going to win the league, and then Saliba got that injury, and then the 5-0 against City. I think maybe that happens to them, and so we have to make sure that we're at our best to like capitalize on them like falling off.
Okay, and next up's the Carabao Cup. So we haven't won a trophy in so long. Do you think it's a competition we should be taking really seriously, and Mikel Arteta should play his full strength team for that one?
Carabao Cup? Against who? Sorry?
We've got Crystal Palace on Wednesday, quarter-final, so only 2 games away from a final, 3 games to potentially winning it. Do you think we should be taking that really seriously now and going with a full-strength team?
I'd say like a mixed approach. Like Havertz got a rest on the midweek fixture. Maybe get Gabriel Jesus there. Maybe like one or another key player who's very tired, like we can give them a break, because like ultimately what we want is the Premier League and the Champions League, but it's still a trophy that we're chasing after. And so I'd say maybe give a few critical guys a break and then go as hard as we can. Yeah.
Okay, and one last thing I wanted to ask you is your thoughts on Mikel Arteta. So, as I was saying, we've not won a trophy in so long. There is some talk that if we don't win a trophy this season, he's going to be under pressure. What's your thoughts? Do you think that even if we don't win a trophy, he should be given more time?
Yeah, it's a weird one because he's taken us very far, right? As a team, like I remember watching Arsenal in 18, 19, 19, 20, especially in 19, 20, we were really bad with like Unai Emery and everything. And I think he really brought us to like a very good level. The question now is like, is he a ceiling raiser? Can he really improve us to be excellent? And I think the answer is probably yes. One issue that I have with him is that although he's a very good coach and he's very like he's been very successful at making us like a good kind of reliable team, that I think a lot of the stuff that got me into Arsenal in the first place with Wenger is not the same anymore. And it's okay because we're winning and the game has changed and it's become very physical and like pragmatic. But I would say like the one thing about Mikel Arteta that kind of annoys me, I guess, more than his way of playing. Sorry, more than his like achievements are just the way of playing. I think that we could get closer to the Arsenal ideal. That's my only concern, honestly.